Imagine this. You marry the love of your life and you've been together for 2 years and everything seems to be steady. Then one day he sits you down and he says, "My ex-wife's cancer is back and she needs me. And I can't be her caregiver and your husband at the same time." And then right there, he leaves. No affair, no cheating, just gone. And that right there is the reality for one woman who posted on Reddit. And today we're going to unpack the deep, complicated layers of this story. We're going to unpack the old bonds and the tension between compassion and commitment and the impossible choices that couples sometimes face when love, loyalty, and illness all collide. So let's dive in with this Reddit counselor edition. So here's the story. She's 38 and her husband is 44. They've been married for a little over 2 years. Before their marriage, he was married to Lexi, who is his ex-wife. Him and Lexi met when they were young. They spent nearly a decade of their life together, and 7 of those years they were married. During that first marriage, Lexi had cancer, and he was by her side through the whole battle until she recovered from the cancer. But not long after her recovery, she decided she wanted independence, and that led them to getting a divorce. So let's fast forward to today. Recently, Lexi reached out, and the 3 of them, Lexi, the original poster, and the husband, all of them had dinner together. The wife, who is the original poster, said she even liked Lexi when they met up because Lexi was warm, she was kind, and she was easy to talk to. But then Lexi privately told the poster's husband, who is Lexi's ex-husband, that the cancer had returned. And this time, it was serious. So then she went on to tell him that she didn't feel like she could go through this treatment alone. So the poster's husband told his current wife everything that Lexi had said. And he said he wanted to support Lexi through this cancer again. And the wife, who is the original poster, supported him in his decision. She even offered him help. But Lexi declined her help, saying she wasn't comfortable being that vulnerable around someone she didn't know well. So he stepped up to help Lexi. And at first, the wife, who was the original poster, tried to understand. But slowly, she felt him pulling away. His life became consumed with caring for his ex-wife, Lexi. And their marriage, the original poster and her husband, faded into the background. So 2 weeks ago, he sat the original poster down and said, "Nothing romantic has happened, but Lexi needs a level of support that I can't give her while also being your husband. I think we should separate, and I understand if you want a divorce." And then, just like that, he left. Now the poster is sitting here, torn and trying to decide, do I divorce him and move on? Or do I wait and see how this plays out? So first, I want us to validate her. This isn't just about a husband or a person you love leaving. This is about being put in a possible situation. How do you compete with cancer? How do you compete with the bond forged in sickness and survival? And try to notice, it's not about betrayal in the classic sense, because he's not sneaking around, and he's not lying, and he's not being romantic with Lexi. What he is doing is being transparent. And because of that, it makes it so much harder, because it's not as clean or clear cut as infidelity. It's the gray zone where compassion for one woman is costing commitment to another. So of course she feels torn. And of course she feels conflicted, because there is no script for this type of situation. There's none. So now that we've taken a look at the wife and we've validated her feelings, let's take a look at him. For nearly a decade, his life was defined by Lexi, who is his ex-wife's illness. That experience bonds people in ways outsiders can't fully understand. And when she got sick again, it likely triggered all of those old patterns and all of those old muscle memory of him being her caregiver. For him, this isn't just about his ex-wife. It's about unfinished emotional business. It's about stepping back into an identity he once lived in every single day. An identity as a protector, as a caregiver, as a lifeline. And the hard truth is that he's right. You can't be a full-time caregiver to someone with late-stage cancer while at the same time being a fully present spouse. And in those conditions, something breaks. And in this case, it was his marriage. So, is this a red flag marriage? Let's just try to break it down. Because red flags mean unhealthy patterns, lack of transparency, betrayal, and or emotional neglect. But this, it's a little bit different here. It's not betrayal, but what it is displacement. It's a man that's consumed by a crisis, and due to this, he has to make a choice to prioritize his past over his present. And that doesn't make it less painful, but it does make it different. The red flag here would have been if he came back after caring for his ex-wife Lexi and expected his current wife, who is the original poster, to just pick back up where they left off, acting like her pain didn't matter. That would have been something to watch for right there. So, what does she do now? She has two paths to choose from. Path one is for her to move on. And by doing this, she would file for a divorce, she would grieve the relationship, and then she would rebuild her life. This path would allow her to recognize that his emotional energy is elsewhere, and she doesn't want to live in limbo. But path two is for her to wait and see. And in this path, she chooses patience and understanding that cancer doesn't last forever. So in this path, she waits to see who he is after the storm passes. Neither path is wrong. What matters is her values. Can she live with that uncertainty? Can she live with being second place to his caregiving role to his ex-wife? Or does she need clarity and stability right now in the present? This isn't about what's right. It's about what she can tolerate or accept without losing herself. And here's a lesson for us all. Marriage isn't just about love. There's a whole lot more to it. It's about competing loyalty. It's about families. It's about exes. It's about children. It's about careers. And it's about health crises. So at some point, your partner will be pulled by something outside of your marriage. And when this happens, do they manage that pull in a way that preserves the relationship? Or do they manage that pull in a way that fractures it? This story is a hard one because it reminds us that sometimes even when no one is a clear villain, relationships can still break under the weight of impossible circumstances. So what do you think? If your spouse left to care for their ex, and not in a romantic type of way, but out of loyalty and compassion, what would you do? Would you wait, or would you walk away from the relationship? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this isn't just about one couple's story. It's a mirror for us all. It's a mirror about loyalty, about boundaries, and about the limits of marriage vows. And if you want more counselor takes on the hardest relationship dilemmas that people are wrestling with online, then hit that subscribe button, because next week we're unpacking another story that will change the way you see love, loyalty, and commitment. I'll catch you on the next.